let's see here.
All right, yeah. So we've got a fist app, and we are starting off. And so we do with a pretty traditional opening. We've got a Diablo in order to start that. All right.
Sorry, that was
No.
my keyboard there. Sorry, stream. You guys probably heard that.
That's all right. Yeah, we love the good clicky clackies. And so we see Tipo. Now, I'm noticing. So if I'm noticing, did Roger just ink and pass? It looks like Roger just inked and passed.
Yeah, this is
That-
not the start
that's
that,
not the
that
start he
Roger's
wants.
going to want here. So
Correct.
this, I'd agree with you, Ryan. Typically, purple steel is unfavored into purple. With this Jafar version, I'm not 100% sure to say who's favored. It's just such an unfamiliar
Yeah,
matchup right
that's
now.
why it's here. That's why we're here watching it. It's I'm kind of curious myself, so we're gonna find out.
And we do see Jack has the rabbit, which just gonna refill his hand, like help him keep, if he
Yeah.
draws an inkable here, it's gonna be really good for
Yeah.
him.
And we've seen this blue fairy before, so a blue fairy hits the table. Roger hoping to get some value out of this thing, entering into turns where he can play things like Aladdin, like Jafar, can certainly help out.
Yeah, this is a really good start for Jack,
Yeah, yeah.
and a little slow for Roger.
It is, yeah. In which slow, you cannot afford slow when you're playing against anything Sapphire. Slow is not what you can afford. It's tough.
He's probably gonna get some value out of this blue fairy, but it needs to be more than just value, right? Like he's just gonna play Aladdin is probably the best thing he could play to draw a card off of it
Okay.
and kind of get a body.
Yeah,
down.
and he heard you, so he did that. Yeah, absolutely. All right.
But we do know this deck can get lore very quickly.
Yeah.
So he does swing into the Diablo to draw Jack another card. Blue Fairy doesn't take any damage there, so Jack's gonna again. Jack is on light speed,
Yes.
like light
Yes.
speed. So friends, and now he can. I kind of you
Yeah, go
don't want to
ahead.
draw too many cards because everybody knows what each other's playing at this point.
At
Right?
this point, they do,
everybody
yeah.
knows what color combinations are being played, and not just the color combinations, but this is a Jafar wheel deck. He doesn't want to draw too many cards because there's a chance that it is going to get wheeled, but he needs to find an Elsa.
Yeah, I would agree. I think there is such a thing as too much draw to a point. If you don't have answers that you're hoping to have, you kind of have to keep digging. But I'm seeing Jack's hand though.
Yeah.
And it
there's
looks
the
like
Elsa.
it looks like there might be two if I'm not wrong. I see one, I see two. Yeah, so
Two big Elsas.
two of the big Elsas are in hand. He certainly would rather have at this point the fifth spirit.
And this is exactly what I was talking about. Right? He's at 6 ink right now.
Yeah.
And he has that Elsa to swing at a Jafar. Any Jafar that gets played by Roger is going to get removed.
Yes.
And after that, he has the Hades to remove whatever else gets played.
Correct.
And he's just going to be questing each of those times. And
Yeah.
then you just Elsa lock, and it's probably going to be rough.
It will be, yeah. And we're looking at when you look at the lore count, we're 3-0 right now, which again, there's a stabilization phase here that is happening between the two. They're trying to figure themselves out. Roger probably feels better about his situation. He's got multiple blue fairies on the board. So a strong draw engine on the go here.
Yep.
Bodies presenting some kind of a threat. Roger's got to be feeling okay. I don't know if he feels great, but he's got to be feeling okay.
Yeah, but now he's about to lose both the Jafar and the Blue Fairy.
He is, yeah. Yeah.
I believe.
There's a difference between feeling safe and being safe.
Yeah,
Okay?
exactly.
So let's be clear on that. All right, so we are seeing that Elsa come in, take out the blue fairy. All right, so we're down to one blue fairy left.
Yeah, questing with Fairy was probably pretty a mistake. I'm wondering if he did it because he has two, and he's maybe thinking that I'm still gonna get value with this other one.
Yeah.
But this is Jack having two Elsas and,
a
a Hades.
And a Hades.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is.
I would. Yeah, and we're looking over on the other side.
we see Jafar.
We see a whole new world. We see the Jafar. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what can culminate from this hand. So like at what point do we wheel?
You have to get a 5-drop down, but Jack's not going to allow that. You're not going to want to
Yeah.
hard cast the wheel.
Yeah.
So
listen, if Roger knew that Jack was rocking
Two
two
Elsas,
Elsas
he'd
and a
probably
Hades, well, that's a good. Yeah, he might just scoop. That's a good point. I'd scoop. I would not blame him. But no, you gotta. Obviously, we want to factor in the idea that he doesn't know these things.
he does need ink though.
He does need ink, yes, which is tough. You know, you got a whole new world in hand. You are thinking about what you're gonna do. You might be getting a little ink starved.
Crab is an inkable card.
It is. It is.
Last time I checked.
Yeah.
I feel like you probably hit the blue fairy, yeah, and I think you actually do 100%.
Yeah.
Because Aladdin's not doing a whole lot.
No, it's not. This is not a valuable. The only value that it had in this moment was potentially lore every turn and the draw from the blue fairy.
I cannot believe how fast Jack is moving.
Yeah, Jack moves at lightning speed all the time.
Oh my god.
So, I'm in the chat. Not diggy diggy hole, but instead we're gonna call it sweepy sweepy dirt. I love it. Yes.
Sweepy sweepy dirt.
That is too funny.
Okay, so Roger's going for the Robin Hood here. Now, if I'm Jack, I'm probably just playing the second Elsa, tapping both 5-cost singers down.
Yeah.
And questing out.
I mean, are we seeing any bounce in his hand? Do we see
no bounce
I didn't
yet.
catch a snake. I don't catch a fox.
Got a churn in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone take Jack's coffee. Chuck says in the chat, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he drinks coffee. I think he's a Celsius guy.
That might be it. Celsius is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I like this. I like this from Jack. I mean, I think in some of his early games today, we saw him take more value options of really keeping those Elsas alive.
He did.
And getting both Elsas out here is just such a fast clock.
Yeah.
This is, and then now with the Hades following turn.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, we are effectively on that 2-turn clock.
Yep.
From single digit lore count on a 2-turn clock is kind of wild. Oh, Jafar finally finds its way.
Unfortunately,
onto the table.
He's gonna find his way right.
But he is about to be shown the door. He is not welcome to this party. He did not book his charter onto the boat that takes him to the Azurite Sea. So there goes into the inkwell, into the unknown.
Yeah.
Our friend Jafar.
Oh man, this is kind of tough here.
It is.
He's got. Is it a whole new world and one other card that we don't know?
Correct. Yes, it is.
So Jack's just taking the aggro line.
I mean, at this point, that's all you need to do.
Yep.
Yeah,
He can banish only one of the Elsas without a removal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Jack has a Bell in hand to remove that Robin Hood.
Yeah.
If he does swing with it.
Yeah, I mean, we still see that wheel kind of clogging up Roger's hand right now. We see. I'm sorry.
Oh,
there's two
whole new worlds.
There's 2 whole new worlds clogging up that hand right now.
Yeah, this is rough.
And the small Jafar. Rogers can't be feeling too hot about it. We see the bell, the mystic.
Can you even afford to sing? You can't sing the whole new world.
No, you
here.
can't.
But you also need to find a removal for the other Elsa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? If you don't kill both Elsas, that's still 6 on board.
Correct. And that's game because we are sitting at 14 on Jack's side of the table. And so that is this is a very unfortunate position for Roger. Roger needs to consider what needs to change in order to be successful.
Again. He said it's a little low on the mic.
All right. I think Mike is all right. Well, we're going to continue talking. We're going to figure that out. Thank you for letting us know in the chat. But we see Monty is being asked to. Yes. All right. Excellent.
You got to turn down the Vader music to be able to hear.
Yes, Monty. Please, lower the radio. You'll be able to hear this better. All right. So we are seeing a thought process here.
Roger's in the tank here, but I mean, I think.
Yeah.
I honestly don't. I don't know what removal he plays in the deck. So he is gonna sing Whole New World.
I mean, what else do you like? You do like that's just all you do, and you hope, and you show both Whole New Worlds to Jack and say, this is the world I live in, and I hope a new world will be better than this.
If he finds a storm, he buys a turn, right?
He does.
If Jack did not find a goat, he did find a goat.
He found the goat, yes. So that was there was a bit of an asterisk on that.
Yeah.
And the asterisk is called Merlin Goat. And so, certainly Roger is doing the math. Roger has just figured it out that there's just nothing you can do. So we're going to go to game 2. Roger's going to get an opportunity now.
Yep.
So I ask again, what in the heck
do? If Blurple ran like that every game, it would be tier 1.
I feel like it is though. I'm saying
Jack saw almost everything that he would need
Yeah.
to see in that game.
I need all of my YouTubers, I need all my influencers with the clickbait to please talk about the cracked Blurple deck.
No,
that is
no,
running.
don't do that. Don't do that.
Do it.
No, don't do that. Right before LCQs, I don't need that in my life, please.
Oh goodness gracious! That's gonna be. We're gonna cut this audio, and that's just the way it's gonna be. Yeah, good. You think yes, Forbidden on you. That is correct. Jack is 100% putting respect on this deck's name, and doing so in great fashion. I also want to point out, we haven't even talked about this. Roger is behind the 8 ball here. Roger is down a game.
Yep.
If Roger can clear these 2 games, not only does he move forward in this tournament, but remember, there's a bounty. So we're talking about.
Oh, it does still count in top 8.
They said it counts. It still counts in top 8. So Jack is live for the bounty still, and so Roger is incentivized and hopefully can take out in 2 games to get that box.
I agree, Ryan. It also has some very bad matchups, but a lot of those decks aren't being played a lot. So
Yeah.
with that, yeah, it's pretty well positioned. But I do think it is, if not the hardest, one of the hardest decks to pilot.
I would agree. The lines become less and less obvious. I'd say going into turn 3, sometimes it feels like the lines are not obvious.
Yep.
And so like there's so much room for error once you're sitting on 3 or 4 ink that it completely cracks your game wide open depending on what card you put down.
All right, so Jack does not see ramp on 2 this game. He's throwing, I think, 6 back, 5 back.
Oh, okay, interesting. So that probably makes Roger feel well. Roger didn't have many more to.
I missed how many he put back.
4? It was 4 on Roger's side, and 5 over on Jack's side. So they're both kind of indicating that they're not particularly happy with the current setup that they've got. And as we mentioned, Roger's going to get to go first though. So Roger starts with the tempo.
Yep.
Roger needs to not let that go, and Elsa is very good at stealing it from you.
Yeah, Elsa really can. It's a big equalizer.
Yeah.
And the big thing is for Blurple, when you're ramping, it does eat your hand up a little bit, right?
It does.
So especially when you have a Diablo start like Jack did last game, you don't have a way of banishing it to draw a card.
Yeah.
Having that rabbit that he did on turn 3 and then just friends.
Right.
I mean, he really saw what you'd want to see. This is a little bit of a slower start. I don't see any ramp on Jack's side.
I'm seeing Hades. I'm seeing Goat. Yeah, it looks like
but again, Roger misses a 1-drop.
How? Yeah, that is just very unfortunate.
And he drew Sail. Drew Sail off the top. Yeah,
which is not. Yeah,
but it's not his best because he's got a lot of inkable cards in hand.
He does, but this is the exact same start that he started with, though. He's got the Diablo. He's about to hit a Sail. Yeah. This is the same turn 1, turn 2 that he did in game 1.
Tipo.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
He had Tipo.
Thank you so much for clarifying.
So Tipo is a lot easier. This is such a good stage. He's drawing into straight gas.
Yeah.
Because now he's got another 1-drop to play off the Sail Ink.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And he has a setup with Crab. If the gym decides to quest, or Roger may shift that gym and kill banish the Diablo and maybe quest. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we don't. I think Roger learned from the premature turning of characters from a previous game. I hope that he considers the options and really thinks about.
So he inked the Crab. I mean, he doesn't have any other inkables in hand besides Elsa. Yeah, you have to do that. You
have to. Yeah.
That's unfortunate, just because Crab is so good when you use it with the Diablo. I guess with Jim doesn't have any damage, so Diablo doesn't die. So maybe it's not as good.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, you do have the ability to ink something, but yeah, you're right. Let's see, and we're inking a
Robin Hood. I think he has to have the shift line here.
And that is exactly what happens.
I like that, banishing both. That's really strong. Really good turn.
Play.
Did Jack draw?
Yeah,
he drew the Donald. And the turnabout. Yeah, he did.
Yes, I believe. Yes, and now drawing for a genie.
5 health is no easy thing.
It's not. It's a big deal. It's a big deal in this meta right now. It's a big deal, and it can deal with just about anything, barring a few exceptions, in Jack's deck. So we'll see what happens here. Now Jack is going through the evasive line, dropping genies,
which I think is really good against this deck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hard to see Roger's hand. It's all like above
Yeah, which it's okay to be surprised. I think I see a. It looks like a friends that rightmost card that he's debating inking. Oh, maybe not. He put it back in his hand.
And again,
Oh,
Jack does
singing rather. Yes. So no, I'm sorry, not inking, but singing. It was the plan.
Jack does have another Elsa to be able to fight whatever
Yeah.
Jafar may come down, right?
Correct. Yeah. And was there a crab to support that in hand? Let's see, because that'll be important.
No,
too.
there was not. There was.
not,
Remember, he
okay.
inked it because he
Correct.
kind of
Yeah,
had
he
to.
was
But he
forced
can
to.
still Elsa swing Genie and Elsa into the Jafar, so it doesn't get any.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're leaving yourself open to something like a Tinkerbell, which Jack may think that Roger's playing.
That's true. Yeah. We've not revealed the deck lists. So you're right. Jack may not be fully aware. Like it's not. It doesn't seem that impossible that a Tinkerbell is existing in Roger's deck.
I think Jack put 2 damage instead of 3.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking that it's the genie.
Yes,
You've done it to so many genies. 100% that's muscle
Yeah.
memory.
Yeah.
I'm sure the judges will get that fixed, but they should both have 3 damage on them.
Yeah.
It's 100% because that's such a common play for Blurple to react to a genie by
Yes.
Elsa.
And it'll be interesting if they don't get that fixed, unfortunately, then and they continue playing that way. Like let's say a Bell were to come, he'd be shortchanging himself a damage on
Yeah.
that Bell.
Yeah.
So it may come back to bite him. Funny enough.
Uh-oh. We lost our lore counter.
Oh no, yeah. There's a. We're just waiting on.
Jack's getting texts on the side he needs to address.
Absolutely, yeah. Probably an emergency or something that came up. Oh, it looks like they figured it out.
Or maybe the charger's not working and his phone's dying. You never know.
Oh, that's true. That could be it too.
Invincible ice block, yeah. Invisible ice block could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do need to get that fixed. I don't think Roger is on Tinkerbell, and he doesn't have enough ink yet.
All right, so we blast with a Storm Rage on. So then, at least for that one, it didn't matter as much, the 1 damage, but...
Yeah, I do want to make sure. Production, if you guys can hear that,
yeah.
Can you guys make that 3?
Yeah, that Elsa needs to be 3.
Yeah, because he could have killed the Elsa there instead. However, I don't think he's doing that. Is this a Bell, which is actually going to matter?
Wow, it is.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Oh, well, no.
It does matter.
It does,
kind
yeah.
of, but kind of not at this point.
Okay, all right. Well, it's yeah. So for production, it's fine now. They unfortunately the characters have been removed from game, that or the damage has been removed at least where it matters. So I mean, in that case, it didn't. It appears as though it didn't affect the outcome, or it won't affect the outcome.
I mean,
of the game.
I don't think Roger is ever thinking to storm the Elsa instead of the genie there.
Yeah.
I can't see his hand, so I don't want to say. It looks like he has Aladdin and a couple other cards, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's cooked. Start the entire tournament over.
Start the entire thing. Let's start this thing from scratch, guys. Let's start the whole thing over. All right,
there we go. We got a Jafar. Saw it for a second. Whole New World. So he's got the Jafar and the Whole New World, but no shift target for Jafar yet.
Absolutely, yeah. And they're
Look at
both
how fast. How
I know. You know what though? I can't even hate because I do that too.
I do that.
I'm a card flipper.
Yeah,
I do that.
I'm also guilty. But yeah, it's no inkables in hand for Jack at this point.
Yeah, Jack has got to be thinking like, man, oh man, boy, oh boy, hopefully this deck likes me and I can get something I can ink that I won't hate.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing too. It's not just that it's inkable. It's got to be inkable and you don't mind inking it. That's critical.
Oh, he sung Whole New World there.
Okay, all right.
That's curious.
Interesting. We're seeing a library. We're seeing Blue Fairy. All right, okay on Jack's side. I mean that looks like a pretty solid. Nah, I mean you can go wide. Looking at Jack's hand, like there's some options to go.
Yeah,
wide.
absolutely. I wonder about singing Whole New World there.
Yeah, I mean,
could he not have played something else down? One of his other characters? Maybe he only had. I want to see what was in his discard.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that.
I can't. It's just all I see is the Whole New World.
Yeah, we've got people that are telling on Jack saying that he just does that for every card game. By the way.
Yeah. Yep. If you think his hands are moving fast, his brain is moving at triple the speed.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes. If you ever speak with Jack, you know that this man's processing
Yeah, his
power.
processing
Yeah,
power
this
is
man's
insane.
running on a quad core processor.
Oh, did he top deck that Hades?
He did. Yes, he
Wow.
did, and he played it to send.
I
Yep.
like this. I like keeping the Bell up,
Yeah. I mean,
especially because this matchup Bell is a little more relevant because of the Robin Hoods.
it is. Yeah.
And you have a Hades out, right? So
You
if you're
do.
able to bounce that Bell back, it could be a super relevant play later on.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about a four strength, four willpower character. I mean, so you're to your point, very relevant. Crab makes it even more relevant in some of the play lines that we might see come from Roger.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's scary. I mean, and let's not forget Tulor. Just that little thing.
Yep. Absolutely. I kind of like sailing and emptying my hand next turn for Jack.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
really just inking, going ahead, putting all these cycling one drops down.
I'd be worried about overextending myself.
I mean, what
I
you have
mean,
so many high health characters on board.
but yeah, you do. I don't. It just they seem still like it still feels almost like they're in the beginning phases of this game. We're talking about three lore on the table.
Mm-hmm.
I I I guess we'd have to see it play out. I don't know if I fully agree with just emptying it. If we might see something like a Zeus potentially, or if we see something that can clear a board, something like a sword that could be a problem
Yeah.
for. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, maybe, but it looks like Roger's
Okay,
kind
now,
of
now
going the
he's
same
probably
way.
gonna Elsa here. Okay, so you got shift.
All right, we got a shift.
Wow, it's a free shift with that Aladdin. I have actually never
It's
seen it
it's a
shifted.
discard a location card to shift.
I honestly,
It's similar to
yeah,
to
Diablo,
Diablo.
yeah.
It's similar to Diablo. Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's okay. That's an option.
It's a lot of damage for Bell to reuse.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, yeah, we.
Oh, finished
Oh,
off.
wow. Okay, so
Eat my words.
Yeah, so there was a plan in place. Roger is currently sitting with 4 bodies on the table. You've got Jack, who's got 2 bodies. Granted, they're kind of a big deal.
They're definitely big bodies.
Yeah, so with willpower to boot, some strength to boot. So we're not in a horrible spot here.
Um, Lots of creative plays can be made here. You can bounce that Hades back and replay that on something like one of these big 5-cost gems.
Yeah.
Okay, he chooses to. So he's gonna probably go the Bell route instead.
All right, just kind of move some damage over.
Yeah,
and
probably swing the Bell into the. Oh, never mind.
All right, so we bounce the Hades. We are using the Fox to trade
With
with
he's gonna play the Elsa to tap down the blue fairy.
It taps on the blue fairy. It sets up a shift, which could be important later.
Yep.
It creates an equal board state for the two of them.
Yep.
We are, we're many turns in. We're seeing that both players have. Well, Jack has a significant amount of ink. Roger is at least he's got some stuff. He's not fully ink starved yet. So we should be somewhere midway through this game, and yet the lore doesn't represent that. We're still seeing what appears to be a stabilization period.
Yeah, and the thing is with this specific matchup in Purple Steel, Jack doesn't have to worry about him like never running out of cards.
Yeah.
Because we saw Library get thrown away with the Aladdin shift.
Correct.
That's a card draw mechanic.
It is.
Your Blue Fairy card draw mechanic, which
Yeah.
Jack has answered a couple of those already.
Yeah.
And then your Whole New World, right?
Yeah.
Like that's your draw. You don't have those rabbits and genies that you need to really, really worry about for drawing cards.
Yeah.
So he really kind of does just need to keep the board kind of clear. But he does need to stop him from being able to sing another Whole New World with this 5-drop gem. The swing into Aladdin with Bell, I'm not sure about because maybe I'm overvaluing Bell.
I mean,
and it's a free trade now for his gem to make to the Bell.
I'm trying to look a little closer in Jack's hand to get a determination as to what are some of the factors. I mean, I see bounce. He has the Hades. He's got bounce that essentially is a heal on that card.
Yeah.
So that might be a factor here. You might say, hey, you know what? I can just recover this card. He might say, hey, I'm willing to take the sacrifice because I've got a Hades right behind that. Yeah. So I think Jack will learn whether or not that was a mistake. However, as I've said before, a play going well doesn't mean that it was a well played move.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a bad move and you get lucky.
So we got 3 cards left in hand for Roger. You can actually trade, but you probably don't want to trade that Also, because now the gym's drawing cards.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is a interesting spot to be in
Oh, we got a little dark there.
for the both of them. Yep, I see a little bit of hand waving there from Roger. Some communication happening across the table.
Probably asked how many cards are in hand.
Oh yeah, that's always a scary. I'll be like, hey, you're not playing Emerald. Where's your Clarabelle? Don't ask me that question. If you're not playing Clarabelle, you're not allowed to ask that question.
Yeah, library is pretty good, except Hades kind of answers that. But how many cards do you really? How much ink do you want to give Roger? Like that's the question. Because
Yeah,
the more ink you give him, the later game he gets like a Jafar to land and can sing Whole New World and just go to 20 lore real quick.
absolutely yes.
I like this setting up a play to where he can actually remove that library.
Yeah, yeah.
It does feel a little bad if he does have the Whole New World.
It can. Yeah, it would
And he's able to
certainly.
sing it. You know.
Yeah. That'd be rough. I mean, we are seeing a Donald Duck hit the table, so we're still seeing Jack executing the plan of increasing that inkwell faster than Roger can.
I like that he did that, but I
Okay.
also wonder if it would have been better to ink this other snake and play the one drop down.
I've
in case he does
noticed.
Whole New World.
I've noticed through watching Jack's games that there's a lot of that Jack does value that snake a lot.
He really does.
So
And it is
yeah.
really good when you have those Hades in hand. Like,
Yeah.
having a bunch of it's basically unlimited Hades,
Yeah.
right? Like you're just gonna keep getting those effects. But I do worry that you give them too much ink and don't pressure enough of the lore, they're gonna end up comboing at some point, right? Like
Yeah.
we may see him combo off.
That's a very very fair point. Oh, there's some notice of a miss sequence there with that sale. Probably should have maybe the
Yeah.
sale needed to happen first to see that card draw
Yep.
to maybe get a better answer or solve for a problem that he didn't know he had.
Yep. But I mean, it happens.
Yeah, you're
Maybe
kind
he
of,
knew the card that he was gonna draw on the top was bad, and he wanted to Donald it,
Oh, I
and
mean,
then he wanted to sail the next card because he knew that one was better.
yeah. Just I mean, yeah.
Sometimes you're just feeling it.
Yeah, you got to go with the vibes sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
A vibe check, and the vibes are immaculate.
Well, hold on, we got a Jafar here now.
Oh, okay, all
We
right.
got a 7-cost Jafar here.
All
but,
right.
And big butt, we got it.
Yeah.
Still.
Now, do we get to see it? Are we gonna finally see
no.
7? No.
No.
Oh, but I really want to see it.
No, this is gonna be Hades.
Oh,
for
come
sure.
on! Tell Jack not to do it. Oh! We're saying.
There we go. We're drawing first.
We're drawing. Okay, good. Yep. Listen, I take calculated risks, but I'm bad at math. So, all right. Yep. Okay. We will not be seeing, at least not right now, 7 lore from drawing off of a Whole New World.
Both of those will swing into the library to finish it off.
Yeah.
I imagine. And Roger's down to 2 cards.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he almost missequenced that
Oh.
without swinging those in.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, thankfully, did not.
You just bounced the mim.
Yeah.
Just it's free at this point.
It is. Yeah.
So typically, if you're playing something like a red-blue Ruby Sapphire deck as a purple player, you're bouncing that Hades every time it gets played, so they can never interact with it.
Yes.
But in a deck like this, you bounce that Hades, that's green light for I'm going to Whole New World.
Correct.
However, Roger knew that Jack had that Hades because it was bounced earlier.
Yeah.
So we have to know that Roger does not have Whole New World in his hand.
Yeah.
Based on the way he's playing.
You would have. Yeah. You'd be nuts not to send it away with a Whole New World. If you know that that's causing you so much problems, there's the ability to bounce just coming up every time. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good signal. All right, so we're counting up our total amount of ink. It looks like we've got 12 on Jack's side. We've got about 8 or 9. The yellow sleeves make it a little difficult to tell, but I believe it's 9. Could be 8.
Looks like 8.
Yeah, it looks like 8. Could be 8.
Yeah, Jack's just locked in.
Absolutely. I think that's a good description. And if you've ever played against him, and holy moly have I,
Yeah.
that's a good way to describe that. Yeah, he's processing in that moment
Another
the
library.
different things that need to happen. All right, so we're seeing. So that library survived a turn.
Okay, he did draw a card off of that gym because he
Yeah.
put in library. Looks like another library I think Roger just drew.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you got the Aladdin shift line. The locations are a good fit for that. They certainly, to your point, Hayes, you mentioned that they help tremendously with draw.
Yeah.
And so, if you can feed things and get that draw.
Yeah, you really need the supplemental draw here because it can feel bad if you don't see the Whole New Worlds early to
Yeah.
kind of reset.
Yeah.
Library is cute, but the problem is library
And there's
Libraries and locations in
yeah.
general are in a pretty rough spot in the meta.
Yeah, and we've got two libraries. We are running a bookstore here. We've got two libraries running at the same time.
This again, guys. This is it is an Amethyst Steel deck. If you're just tuning in now, this is an Amethyst Steel Jafar wheel deck. So you're gonna see some cards that you typically wouldn't see in this deck.
Absolutely, yeah. And keep notice that that Roger's deck, this Jafar wheel deck, yes, it made it through 7 rounds of play
Mm-hmm.
into the top cut,
Yep.
and we did so with some style and some grace, if I
Yep.
say so
Yep.
myself.
And in a good field to players.
Absolutely, yeah, fantastic.
95 player tournament.
Yeah, 95 players. Yeah, so and he was one of 14 players that were playing this color combination at the start of this tournament.
But the only one that contains 7 cost purple Jafar Royal
Yes.
Visor.
Yes, that can net you 7 lore when you you spin a whole new world.
All right, so we have. Oh, he's giving him the card draw here.
Okay. Okay, I mean, interesting choices here. You have to think that Jack thinks he can outrace him, and a goat tells me that that's what he feels is the case here.
Yeah, I think he's done dirtling at this point.
Yeah,
I think he's kind of figuring out he just needs to kind of just outvalue.
Yeah.
Get his stuff on the board and start questing.
Yeah, I mean, you listen. The name of the game is Lorcana, and the way you win the game is you turn things sideways and you get to 20 lore. I mean,
Absolutely.
this is you can only play these Q games for so long before it's time to say, okay,
Yep.
let's go.
It is an attrition battle a lot of the time. A lot of decks, a lot of you want to battle for attrition. Whoever has more cards can typically win. But again, I fear you get to a point against this Amethyst Steel Jafar deck. If you give them a whole lot of ink, they may find that combo and just completely pop off. So
Yeah.
it is a window.
This is true, and it does. There's many decks that have a similar situation where you give them enough time and eventually they're gonna sequence what they need, and so and I think that's why you're also seeing kind of this approach by Jack. We've got characters that are ready to run off. You've got a Pete now, so Roger is hoping that to stave off, potentially a sale at this point. I mean, what other actions do we know are in Jack's deck that we've seen? I mean, I know we've seen Friends, so maybe kind of slow down a little bit of that gas. We've also seen him play Let It Go in previous games as well.
It's the one of spice, baby.
The one of spice.
It's to have those extra answers for Shark and the Ruby Sapphire.
We are in South Florida, so for my Hispanics, that is what we call adobo. Okay, sazon even.
Okay. So this is it's sticky board with all these libraries. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I was just talking about how libraries aren't great, but this is a very sticky board.
It is. I mean, you've got eight willpower on those locations.
He is just gonna turn and burn.
It would take in order for Jack to address a single library, he would need to turn 3 of his 4 characters sideways to just to spend on an attack.
Yep.
So I think realizing that and thinking, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna go fast. I think that might be the right call here.
Yep,
we do see a Hades, so we're slowing down Roger's ability to collect that lore, make it centralized to just those libraries.
And I think he has that to bounce the
and
goat
Snake
and
bounce the goat
just enough to play it.
to play it one more time. Go to 14.
Perfect. That's really well played. I don't know how Roger can deal with this board.
No,
he can draw a bunch of cards, and he's going to gain 2 from the locations.
Yeah.
But no Jafar out. He can't pop off for 7 lore real quick.
Holy moly, yeah. So we're seeing, you would think that we are playing yellow purple here on Jack's side of the board with how many characters he's got down.
Yeah, those are big. Those are big.
Those are big.
Too.
Those are big aggro characters. Yeah. Holy smokes.
I mean, removes the hate. I can't even remove the Hades.
No, I mean.
And the bounce for goat made it to where he couldn't just trade Pete for goat.
This is an untenable situation. This is not a good situation for Roger. I mean, we're looking. I can't even see Roger's hand. I'm not even sure. It's difficult to see. Okay, so Roger's deciding to send in Pete.
Yep. Draw and see. Make a decision from there.
Yeah. I mean, you have to kind of circle the wagon a little bit and see what else is waiting for you inside that deck.
Absolutely.
I mean, I only imagine that we'll see a similar situation with Robin Hood unless he happens to draw a shift that could solve a problem for him.
It still doesn't though.
Yeah.
Because Jack has 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 on board.
Yeah,
If he does happen to banish that one Hades that is exerted,
correct. Yeah.
so it'd have to be like shift Robin Hood into Zeus to banish a genie as well, and then hope that okay,
Yeah.
that's gonna be GG's.
That is game. Jack takes both of those games from Roger. Roger, valiant effort. You know, if you get a chance to hear this stream later, we were very proud of your work. Very glad to have seen your deck perform. So thank you, Jack. Great job. Congrats on yours as well.
Yep, top 4 for Jack Blurple.
Top 4
Blurple
for
gang.
yeah. I bet you're happy.
I'm very happy.
I bet you are. You Whisker. You crazy little man. You.
Yep, I super proud of Jack. He's playing very well.
He is playing very well.
Yeah, I think the deck is very well positioned. I'm hoping this doesn't give it too much exposure. Obviously, before
Too
next
late.
month.
Too-
Yeah.
I don't. Have you seen the stream numbers, my
Yeah,
friend?
yeah.
226 people are here.
Yeah.
We've got influencers that are ready with their clickbait titles, with their wide mouth, gaped faces, ready to
Yeah.
talk all about the powerful power of Amethyst Sapphire. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yep.
I hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
You're upset, and I know you are. I'm sorry.
Honestly, here's the thing, and I'm not crap talking a lot of the people in the chat or anything like that. A lot of people pick up Blurple thinking it's really good. They're gonna play it and be like, oh wow, never mind.
Yeah.
It is one of the hardest decks to pilot. And there are some matchups that are just abysmal for it. So when you do find the matchups when it feels good, like Jack just showed,
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
It's fun. Playing Genie on turn 3 is fun.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the way you describe it though, it feels like Sapphire Steel. There was a bit of a talk that like Sapphire Steel is the most punishing deck.